We seem to be having some technical difficulties, but listen, I was talking about when have you held on to or operated in a survival mode and called it normal? And so we're going to talk also about how the pain a lot of time shows up when we are not healed, okay? And when we are not healed, a lot of times what begins to happen is that the pain that we're going through begins to leak out. And so what that may look like, what it may look like is that you begin snapping at other people. Maybe your loved ones, you're going through some things and you begin snapping at some of your loved ones. And for those of you all who lost connectivity, just log back on, okay? Just log back on. I may be having some little bit technical difficulties, but guess what? We're going to finish this tonight. So not only do you start snapping at some of your loved ones, but other things that shows how the pain may show up because we haven't healed is that we start overreacting to small things. Now, you've heard people say you're making a mountain out of a molehill. Well, guess what happens? Is we start overreacting to those little bitty things. And those little bitty things is really not what you're upset about. No, it's not the fact that your husband left his tennis shoes in the middle of the kitchen floor. That's not what you're upset about. What you're really upset about is the fact that you haven't healed. You haven't dealt with the things that have traumatized you in your life, or the pain or the disappointment or all of those things. So that's really what's happening, Sister Tina, is that is what's going on. A lot of times what we may start seeing is we start having difficulty trusting people. And this will be just, everyday normal people. But because you're dealing with the pain of not being able to, you haven't healed, you have difficulty trusting people. Not only that, we become emotional numb. And when I say we become emotional numb, is that a lot of the feelings that we would typically have, we don't have those feelings anymore. And so it's that numbness. It's that numbness. And then, of course, we have that constant burnout or fatigue. And let me just tell you, sometimes the days can turn into where it seems like your 24-hour days seems like they're 48 hours, 60 hours, or whatever, because we are fatigued and we're burnt out. And all we want to do is sleep and rest. And it seems like no matter how much sleep or how much rest that we may get, we are still not rested. We're still not rested. Thank you, everybody, for coming back and joining me. We had a little bit of technical difficulty, so thank you all for being here, everybody that's back with me. So let's talk about another thing, too. And tonight we're talking about healing in plain sight when you're functioning but still breathing. Another thing that I wanted to just share with you all is that sometimes, and I'm rubbing my head, and especially like right here, sometimes we can get the physical pains in our body and we really think that, oh, I've got a headache or this is what's going on. But a lot of times it's really not a headache and it's really not, it's maybe physical, but guess what? The underlying cause of it has to deal with your emotions. It's emotional things that you haven't dealt with that's actually causing some of that physical pain. And a lot of times, I said like right here, but like even like in your shoulders and in your back and different parts of your body, you begin to feel like a sense of, oh, I'm just hurting and I'm just having this stress and I'm just whatever. And stress is right. It's because of the stress that you're feeling that's causing some of the physical symptoms. And so you definitely want to get that checked, okay? I want you all to just think about a time when you felt like you were doing all the right things, but you just didn't feel good inside and you knew something was off. You may not could put your finger on it, but you knew something was off. And a lot of times, let me just tell you people, that it's because we are still bleeding. We are still bleeding from the pain that we have not healed from. Okay? I see Miracle said yes, and I see some hearts and thumbs up. But I want you to remember one thing, that you cannot heal what you keep hiding. I'm going to say that one more time. You cannot heal what you keep hiding. And I was listening to Pastor Osteen this morning, and he was talking about how things that have happened to us in our past and how we hold on to neck, shoulders, you're absolutely right, Nick. How we hold on to things that people have done to us or have wronged us, and we hold on to that stuff for years. For years. He gave an example of a family who had fallen out with each other, and they were at odds. And it took the mom getting really, really sick before those siblings were able to come together and decide that they were going to squash that thing. Because guess what? They were still bleeding. They had not healed. They were still bleeding. And so you cannot heal what you keep hiding. So I want you to just also think about this, that healing begins with honesty. You've got to be honest with yourself and call out that thing that you know that you're still dealing with. You've got to call it out. You've got to name it. And you've got to decide that, guess what? I've held on to this thing long enough. It's time for me to lay it down, because guess what? It's not hurting anybody but you. That other person who may have wronged you, or you all got into a disagreement and you wasn't able to work it out. Guess what? That person no longer even probably remember what you all fell out about. They went on about their business. They're living their best life. And guess what? You still mad. Now, what sense does that make? I'm 61 years old. And guess what? If something happened to me when I was 6, why am I still holding on to it? Why am I still holding on to it? I've got to let it go, because guess what? It's only hurting me. It's not hurting the other person. They may not even remember that they wronged me. And so why am I still holding on to it? What good is it doing me? How is it benefiting me to hold on to it? It's not at all. It's not benefiting me whatsoever. And also the other thing, and I heard somebody say this before, are you bleeding on the people who did not cut you? Ooh, that's strong. Hey there, Sister Renita. Are you bleeding on the person who did not cut you? See, sometimes we can hold on to things and we can strike out at people who did nothing to us. They just happen to be in our presence. And because they are in our presence, or they are the closest thing to us, we lash out at those people. And they didn't do anything to us. Okay? So let it go. You are absolutely right, Sister Tina. Let it go. It does nothing for you. Let it go. Stop bleeding on the people that did not cut you. Because guess what? Eventually, you're going to run them away. And sometimes those are the absolute best people that you've had in your life. But because you have not healed and you are still bleeding, then you are bleeding on them as well. And let me just tell you, the best advice that I can tell you other than to let it go is to let God fix it. Let God fix it. But we've got to stop pretending that it doesn't hurt. Because so many times what happens is, remember that strong facade that I said about us putting on our mask? Because we wear that mask and that strongness like a badge of honor. But when we wear it like a badge of honor, it does not allow God to fix the things that's really hurting us. And here's the other part. We've got to start naming it and sharing it. If it's bothering you, if it is hurting you, if you do not like it, have a courageous conversation and share that with the people that are in your lives. Stop bleeding on them and have a courageous conversation. And it's all in how you do it, okay? There are some ways that we can talk to people that will definitely get them to understand what you're trying to say. But we've got to make sure that we approach it in the right manner. We cannot go into conversations accusing people. We've got to just simply tell them, listen, this is how I feel, or this is how, whenever this happens, this is how I perceive it to be. And just have that courageous conversation with them. And I won't say I guarantee you it will make a difference, but it probably will if you just give it a try. Remember, you got to be able to have those conversations in love. And it's all in how you do things. Now, am I saying this is what I always do? Absolutely not, because my husband can tell you I probably hurt his feelings this morning, or I may have hurt his feelings last night, or the day before, or the week before, or the year before, 20 years ago, 40 years ago, okay? But I hope that I am learning by doing and making better choices. But sometimes it's just the way it comes out. And we are both learning. We're both still in this learning phase. He often says, give me 6 months and I will do better. And I'm going to tell you, honey, give me 6 months also. I know he can hear me. Honey, give me 6 months. We're working on it. And it's okay to rest. Let me just tell you, last night, I came home and I just told my husband, I said, I'm tired and I just want to lay down. I didn't necessarily want to go to sleep. At first, I thought I did. And I just wanted to lay in my bed. I don't do that very often, but I just wanted to lay in my bed. And so, of course, he would rather I would watch TV with him and spend time with him in the living room. But sometimes people, it is okay to greet or push me out of the bed. Honey, I did not push you out of the bed. These people are going to think that Mother Theresa is pushing her honey out of the bed. No, I didn't do that. But it's okay to rest. It's okay to rest. Sometimes people, my good people, it is okay to say no. It is okay to say no, I need to rest. Or no, there's just something else that I need to do. Or just saying no and don't give an explanation. All right, Ned, you getting on your daddy. I said this before, I think on last week. Sometimes we just need to cry it out, okay? Remember, we're talking about healing and we're talking about bleeding on other people and just bleeding out, period. Sometimes we just need to cry this thing out and be done with it. I told you all that crying is a great way to empty out, I would say, the soul. It's a great way to refresh the soul and the spirit. I don't know if any of you all have ever had just a good old cry and you actually felt better. I'm going to raise my hand because let me just say, I have had a cry that was a ugly, I hear you, mama, just say no. Absolutely, daughter. Absolutely. I've had a good old cry, you all, that when I finished, I felt like a ton of bricks had been lifted off of me. And that's been several years ago. But it felt good. So I'm going to tell you, if you need to cry, it is okay. You're not weak for crying. You're not weak for needing healing. You're absolutely wise to seek it, okay? So a declaration, as I said, that I'm going to share tonight is that I'm choosing honesty over my image, because healing is something that we all need to do. And I'm choosing honesty over my image, and I'm claiming healing over hiding, okay? Some of us have gotten so used to hiding behind so many different things, behind this mask. Okay, we've gotten used to that. But I want you all to stop doing that. And how can you do that? There are some ways that you can do that. One of the things I want you all to start doing, and this can be some small daily practices, is start journaling your feelings. And guess what? If you need to journal, if you do not have a journal and you want a journal, cry if you must. Absolutely. In my Stand store, which is STAN store, it's the other Mother Theresa. I have some freebies over in my Stand store that you can go to my Stand store and you can actually pick them up, download them for free. But not only do I have some things in my Stand store, but I also have some things on Amazon.com. I have a couple of journals over there. My daughter even has a journal over there. And guess who else has a journal on Amazon? My husband has a journal on Amazon. And guess what? It's called Strong and Steady. We haven't talked about that, but guess what? In the weeks to come, we're going to talk about my husband's new journal for men called Strong and Steady. So you can pick those up on Amazon.com, but start journaling, okay? Start journaling. That is a great way for you to write down some of your feelings and then go back later and look at it and then look at the progress, okay? One of the other things you can do, this is my profession, is see a counselor or see a therapist. It is no shame in seeing a counselor or a therapist, okay? Another thing is take some breaks. Take a break from sometimes the things that is really bothering you. Take a break and allow God to really deal with you in the silent times. Sometimes we just need to break away, steal away, and find a nice, quiet place and just enjoy the silence, okay? Name what you feel without judgment, okay? These are some of the things that you can do on a daily basis, is naming those things and don't feel any judgment about it. And then speaking life over some of the inner wounds that we have. Remember, we talked about, or I shared earlier, that there are some things that have happened to us in our lives, whether it be as a child or as an adult. And some of those things, we've got to start speaking life over those situations. If we haven't healed, then guess what? Speak life over them. And then this is a key thing that I want you to understand, because most of us that are here are people of God. We believe that God is a healer and he's able to do all things but fail. But one of the things I do want you all to understand, I'm a woman of prayer. I believe in praying, but prayer is not a replacement for therapy, but it is a foundation for healing. And I'm going to say that one more time because I don't want you all to get it twisted or confused, is that prayer is not a replacement for therapy, but it is the foundation for healing. I shared with a church that I was able to go and speak during Mental Health Month. And at the church, I shared along with my director is that it's okay to have a therapist and believe in God also. It is absolutely okay to have a therapist and also be a child of God. God gives us the knowledge for us to be able to walk alongside of people and help them along their journey. Help the people. Therapy also works, people. Absolutely. Because one of the things that I understand that in the profession that I'm in, listen, and I'm not doing therapy right now. I'm not standing in that place. But listen, we only walk alongside of you. You all have all the answers. You all have the answers. But sometimes it just takes us holding space for you and walking alongside of you so you can get to the answer that you absolutely need. My daughter said, yes, therapy also works. And it's nothing to have stigma about, nothing to have shame about. Because guess what? When I was going through my counseling program, we absolutely had to go through counseling. We absolutely had to go through therapy. We had to do everything that we were learning how to do. We had to do this. So I'm a big proponent in having a counselor, having a therapist, because it's absolutely needed. Someone asked me, who do I go to when I need to have a conversation? Guess what? Therapy works. It works, okay? If you work it, all right? So what I want you to do this week, and as I'm kind of coming to a close, I want you to write down 3 ways that you can make space for your healing, okay? Hello there, Sister Barbara. Write down 3 ways that you can make space for your healing for this week. All right. And as I'm closing, I want you to give yourself permission to not feel like you have to be everybody's hero. Absolutely. You don't have to be everybody's hero. Because when you're everybody's hero, guess what? Who's your hero? Who's the person that's standing in the gap for you? I want you to let go of the guilt for having or wanting to rest. Let go of the guilt of having to say no. Let go of the guilt of having to feel like you've got to be the strong person. God doesn't want the perfect version of you. He just wants the version of you that is raw, that is real, that is messy, that is, like people used to say, tore up from the floor up. That's who God wants, because that's who he can work with. And that's all I want to share with you all on tonight. I have really enjoyed talking to you all about healing, and not only about the healing. A few more pointers before I close, and I definitely want to say a quick word of prayer. Remember that high functioning pain is still pain, okay? Just because you've managed it well doesn't mean that you're whole, okay? And we all deserve to heal, not just to survive, but we all deserve to heal. It's okay to pause. It's okay to feel. It's okay to even ask for help. You've got to know when you need help, you've got to ask for it. Because if I'm supposed to be your mind reader, I may never understand or know that you actually need help. And for husband and wives, guess what? They can't read our mind. Even though I've been married for 40 plus years, I dare not try to read my husband's mind. Now, I can know some things that he needs, and I can sometimes, because we've been married for so long, there are some things that I can recognize maybe when he needs certain things, but I can't read his mind, and neither can he read mine. So why would I get upset with him if he doesn't take care of my needs, if I didn't share with him what those needs are? So let's give our spouses, let's let them off the hook for not being able to read our mind. I want you all to understand that we've got to grow up. We've got to be big girls, big boys, and we've got to start learning to ask for the things that we need. Even though it may feel uncomfortable, I talked about those courageous conversations. Ask for the things that you need. Learn to say no and mean no, okay? Speak up, take off the mask. Let's heal together. And I want you all to understand that it is possible. It is possible for each and every one of us to heal. It's possible for each and every one of us to stop bleeding on other people, okay? Especially those people who didn't cut you. Father God, I want to thank you for tonight. I want to thank you for each and every person that has gathered here on tonight. And I want to thank you that you've allowed them to hold it together for so long. Holding it together on the outside, even if they're breaking on the inside. God, send healing their way. Meet them in the silent times that they come before you. I want you to break the cycle of having to feel like they have to be the strong person. I ask you to restore their hearts, restore their minds, restore their joy, restore their body, and show them that they are worthy of the rest and the recovery. And Father God, we thank you again for all things. I thank you for joining me on tonight. Listen, everybody, I do not take it for granted when you take the time to stop by and grandstand with me. I do not take it for granted that you are going to show up on a Tuesday night at 7 o'clock and spend a little bit of time with me. I thank you all so very much. If you're watching this on the replay, if you're catching this later after a Tuesday night, I want you all to share it with other people. I want you to subscribe to everywhere that you see me on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, my husband said X, YouTube, wherever you see me. I want you to subscribe because there are so many different things that I have tried to push out and share with you all. There is more to come, you all. There's definitely more to come, but I appreciate your support. Never think that I take it for granted, because I do not. And so, as my sister Cynthia often says, good night, grandstanders, and we will see you all on the next time. Good night. Good night, Mama. Good night, all of my friends. We're going to all heal together. Good night, Miracle. Sister Tina, Sister Barbara, Sister Renetta, everyone that's on here. If I didn't call your name, Sister Sherry, my mom, my husband, my daughters, all of you all that is tuning in. Thank you, Sister Sherry. Oh, believe me, I'm going to get some rest. Sister Tina, it's so good to see you on tonight. Everybody that's watching the replay, thank you for watching. And in the meantime, y'all have a great week. And I will see you all on the next time. Bye-bye, everybody.